Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mings, and today I got a very fun game for all you Drake lovers out there. This is from a live league match that I played a few days ago, and honestly, I couldn't really understand what was going on while I played it, and I kind of want to take a look at the game for my own sake, because this was a very confusing game. So ever since they nerfed Drake on Advanced Wars by Web back to his cartridge stats, meaning that his air units got hit, his naval defense got hit, he has felt kinda weak in Tier 3. Particularly when you go up against Andy, he doesn't feel very good to play at all. It isn't necessarily the case that Andy counters Drake, because if you can get a good Typhoon off, you can still wipe out most of his units, but what feels very bad when you face up against Andy is if he turns the battle into like a copter fight, you really can't challenge him there. Your copters are 30% weaker, and then he'll just pull back wounded copters to get repaired up because you have difficulties finishing them off. And it just doesn't feel very good. So I do love queuing up as Drake on Tier 3. I tend to pick him in live games, but I hate it when I go up against Andy because it's so annoying. A thing that I've started noticing that people do as Andy is they actually don't pop their hyper upgrade, they pop their hyper repair twice. They'll pop it once before the Typhoon to set themselves up with extra defense, and then once after the Typhoon to heal the damage done by the Typhoon. It's actually a very strong tactic against Drake. Sure, the hyper upgrade is nice, but 2 hyper repairs in a row is actually incredibly difficult to go up against, and it's something I've noticed that a lot of players have started doing. But this particular match, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what to say about it, really. It is incredibly wacky. So, the map here is called Bible Black. It's a live league map. Lots of terrain on this map. Mountains, forests, plains. It is kind of divided into 3. You got this section right here, the mid section, and then you got this section right here. This is red player's strong side. This is green player's strong side. Neither player is strong in the middle, and there's like one single base here, which will very often be base raised down. And then the HQs are kind of sheltered, but they can be sneakily capped. Like if you can get an infantry down here, you can kind of go in here and do a little sneaky cap, so you need to be careful. Like one thing that can happen is you place like a battlecopter here, and then boom, you go take the HQ. So you do need to watch out for your HQ. It's not hard to defend it, but your opponent can kind of sneak up on you if you're not expecting it, which is kind of annoying. Com towers, lots of rivers, very heavily terrain map, deceptively terrain map. It looks a lot less open than it is. And my opponent, Maria Corvedilla, is a pretty strong live league player, almost 1100 MMR on the live league, so definitely a good opponent here, and he's playing as Andy, so I knew that I had to play well. Fun fact, while I was playing this match, I was actually playing another live league match at the same time. I was actually doing a dual live game. I started doing that now because they changed Advanced Wars by Web. You're actually allowed to play 2 and 3 games at once now. It doesn't time you out anymore. So I've actually been enjoying playing multiple live games at once because I'm very impatient and I hate waiting. So it's actually kind of funny. Like, it just thought I'd point that out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I say we get started with Drake's groovy theme. I love this track so much. You know, I'm very happy that the reboot camp at least gave us a good OST. That's a good thing, at least. Anyway, let's get started here. So, my opponent, let's turn him the other way. There you go. I always think it looks better when the units are facing each other. So there's a very easy to capture airport early on this map, which of course means battlecopters are going to be a factor early on, which definitely is not a good thing for Drake. Again, if you're playing Andy versus Drake, you want to be pushing out a lot of battlecopters, because you'd like to force a battlecopter fight. Of course, Drake can just build anti-air, but if you build a lot of battlecopters, it's kind of hard to just counter that with anti-air. Battlecopters are very mobile, they can front shift very easily, so... but if I remember correctly, I don't think my opponent massed a lot of battlecopters this game. He didn't. So, opens up a tank, easy, nice opener. In Live League, it's pretty much Tankorama for the first 14 or 15 days. I open up a tank as well. We're both tanking on our strong side. I could build a tank on my weak side, but I don't like doing that in Live League because if your opponent is able to pressure you on your weak side, you're going to lose that fight regardless. So it's probably better to just pressure them on their weak side instead. Like, kind of, because that's how you kind of force a base race. And on this map, base race does seem to be the meta. Like, at some point, there's gonna be a base race on both sides. And I do actually like base race maps. I think they're very fun. They're very dynamic. They shift very easily. I know some people hate it, but I've always been a big fan of a base race scenario. I think it's very dynamic and fun to play. So my opponent here moves out with this tank in the center. He's going to try and deny this city at 1306. Reinforcements path can be a little wanky on this map because you got to go through these like 2 forest tiles. It's not always easy to get your units out in the center, but I just sit on the city right here. He's not going to interrupt that now. And I send my infantry out to try and capture as many units as I can. Both players have captured our comm towers, which is nice. Comm towers, just one comm tower does help a lot against Andy. Andy's dream scenario is a map with no comm towers because firepower is going to be very low for him. It's going to be a lot easier for him to save units from engagements, pull them back for future repairs. So even just one comm tower helps a lot. That means that, you know, during any kind of power, you can 2-hit KO. Of course, with Drake and Tsunami and Typhoon, that's pretty easy to do anyway. But just a little something to keep in mind. Andy is generally stronger the less comm towers there are on the maps. He hates like maps with 2 or even 3 comm towers. That's like his nightmare right there. He really doesn't like that. So, yeah. As you can see, both of us are kind of just massing tanks right now. I'm building my 5th tank. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks, 5 tanks. Live League is pretty much a tank fest in the early game because like artillery takes too much brains to build, but my opponent does build one. And it is nice to build an artillery on this map because you do eventually come to a point where you want to base lock this base. And if you base lock, it's hard to base lock a base without arty because they can just build medium tank, neo tank, even mega tank, and then you're kind of screwed. So you need at least one arty to do a proper base race. But here I get a little bit of an idea here. I see that he's pushing me pretty hard. He's going to apply a lot of pressure. So I'm thinking, you know what? Let's try and gather our forces in the center. Against Andy, generally speaking, the larger armies you have on both sides, the easier it is to wipe out his units. Like, in a battle against Andy, the last thing you want to do is split your army in 2 and have 2 engagements on each side. It's very easy for Andy in that scenario to save units. If you can get one giant death ball in the center and then pop a Typhoon, it's a lot easier for you to take out Andy's weakened units. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to consolidate my forces in the center, get a giant death ball rolling, save up for a power, and then push before he can repair. But I do have to protect myself a little bit. There's a huge wave of infantry coming here, and I don't want to lose these properties. I build a medium tank. He has a medium tank too on his weak side. So we're both going weak side medium tank right here. And I'm continuing to bring my tanks over to the right side. I really want to try and mass up my units as quickly as possible. I don't want to split into 2 fronts. That is like Andy's dream scenario. But he's going pretty hard over here. He takes up my infantry, continues to march forward, puts his artillery down in the city, which is pretty scary. And this medium tank is pretty much shutting down any aggression that I might be able to attempt on the left side right here. But I'm going to try and defend myself a little bit. I know I can't hold out forever, but I might as well try. I do like these 2 choke points here. I build a neo tank on my weak side, so I really want to try and push him on the side right now. So my idea is gather these units here, combine them with these units, and just like rush him on this side. It's a little bit weird, like I'm actually pulling units from my strong side over to my weak side and pushing on his weak side, but I don't know, it felt like the right thing to do in the moment, I guess. So you can see I'm continuing to just shift my units over, and yeah, I'm putting some units in range of his medium tank, which is, you know, not ideal, but it is Live League, what can I say? Takes a bit of a damage here, kind of hard for me. I don't think I was completely able to escape his medium tank. But he definitely has to push back a little bit. And only on day 11 does he build his first battlecopter. Kind of surprised he didn't build a battlecopter before then. But I'm moving out my neo tank right here. And you can see once again, my game plan is just, I'm going to try and consolidate my forces. I don't want 2 fronts. I want 1 giant big front. And you can see I'm just shifting all my units over to my weak side right now. And suddenly, I'm actually threatening him a lot on this side. I have a anti-air to deal with the battlecopter. Now here, he's initiating a lot of captures, and he's continuing to pick off a lot of straggling infantry, which is definitely not great for me. But there's one thing I want you to keep in mind here, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to keep in mind on one thing. Time. Look at the time difference. 22 minutes to 6. My opponent was good, but he was slow. And this is why I love playing Live League Advanced Wars. Slow opponents get punished over time. I have so much more time than him right now, so I was looking at the battlefield and I was like, you know what? I want to drag this out. A little while ago, I made a video on tips for Live League, and I said in this video, treat your time as a resource. If your opponent is significantly behind you in the timer, it is to your advantage to drag the game out. Force them into a position where they're playing on increment and have to think 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes to think, where you can like bust out the move planner and just take your time. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. And here I'm just pushing outside of his artillery range. I have a Neo tank. There's nothing he can do about that. And I continue to just shift all my forces over to the right. Now, of course, at this point, he is pushing on my left side, so I have to form a bit of a wall. I build a medium tank. I have to defend here. I can't just ignore this. Otherwise, he's just going to waltz up and take all my stuff. He's continuing to, like, kill a lot of straggling units, but he's not really killing anything super consequential. But he has to push back here. He finally builds a Neo tank on his side, which is, you know, very smart. But here, I have another idea. Okay. He has 2 artillery. They're very strong. I can't really do much against 2 artillery, but you know what? Artillery are slow. They're as slow as medium tanks. So you know what? Here I get another idea. I'm going to shift my entire army to the left now. That's right. And then I'm going to pincer his units between... So look what I'm doing right now. I'm forcing him to push back on his right side, and now I'm constricting him on his weak side. So I'm saying, you know what? Fine, you can have your stupid artillery. That's fine. They're super slow. They're not going to be able to keep up with the rest of your forces. You know what? Front shift away, baby. This is something good old D just taught me. You know, if your enemy is spamming artillery, you front shift away. And of course, he has to follow me, but he has to be careful. He can't just, like, recklessly pursue me. He still has to set up a good wall for his artillery. Otherwise, I will just come back and smack him again. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to keep running away from you. And yeah, Drake Battlecopter. It's awful to watch, but you know what? There is some, like, at least Drake Battlecopters can still block, so they're still nice to have around. You still want to build Drake Battlecopters, even though they are extremely bad. But here I am pretty much just sacrificing my one base. I know that if he wants to, he can take it away from me, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have no units here. So here, he has to make a choice here. He either has to pursue my main army and attack me in the center, or he can go and take my base. Those are the 2 options that he has. If he takes my base, okay, there's 2 infantry and a tank here. Not a big deal. If I attack everything I have around here, he has his army split in half right here. He has an army split in half. He will lose all of this, and he'll be left with this. So he has the choice between either trying to attack me, kind of awkwardly, or just going for my base, and pretty much risk wiping out all of these units right here. Let's see what he decides to do. He goes for my base. Now, he will capture a lot of properties, and he will have an income advantage for some time. Here, though, he gets weirdly aggressive with my medium. I'm not really sure what he's doing here. I think he got a really bad luck roll here. I mean, he was attacking on an empty missile silo, I guess, so 6/6 is warranted. But yeah, I wasn't really sure what was going on here. But yeah, he's sending all of his forces to take my base now. He builds another Neo tank. And yeah, I'm not really sure why he did this attack. This seems like a bit of a desperation move. Like, sure, he got a medium tank attack, but he's gonna lose a lot of stuff now. And here I just target fire some infantry, because why not? But my army is like twice as big as his on this side, and I'm front shifting everything. So look at this. His army split in 2, my army gathered around here. So again, just shift, and then shift back. And of course, there are many properties for him to take, and he's already base locked me. So already this is not looking fantastic for me, like just from a pure economical standpoint. He has an income advantage. He's about to get even more of an income advantage, and he will soon have a base over me. But, ladies and gentlemen, he has a long way to travel to reach my army. And you know what Drake does, right? That's right. That's right. That's right? Why am I not popping? I honestly think this might be, I'm gonna go back. I think I did pop my power? Wait, what? Why am I not popping my power? I think this is a glitch. Because I'm pretty sure I did pop my power just now. But for some reason, Advanced Source Web isn't registering it. Site has been acting kind of weird lately during replays. I think it will update itself on the next turn. Maybe I did sit on my power. I am so confused right now. Why didn't I pop my power? Oh, okay, actually. Yeah, no. Now I remember. Now I remember why I didn't actually. I was like, I'm sure I popped my power this turn, but no, actually, I held it. I held it. I told it this game was very confusing. So the reason why I'm sitting on my power right now is actually because popping the power this turn does nothing. He'll just repair it up on this side. However, the power might allow me to kill his Neo Tank on his base. If I pop my power, medium tank plus Neo Tank could kill it. So yeah, I'm actually sitting on my power. I was very confused. Like, why didn't I just pop it? I thought maybe Advanced Force by Web messed up or something, but no, it didn't. So yeah, no, I actually want to sit on my power because I want to save it for the base race. And you can tell he's expecting it. He's building a medium tank, Neo Tank right here. And there you go. There comes the Typhoon. I was wondering when it was going to show up. So here, I really had to think hard because this is a pretty complicated scenario right here. I need to be able to take his base out. But you can tell my opponent is fighting on increment. He's really struggling at 23 minutes. So here, I busted out the move planner and I was like, okay, let's just calculate this turn. I'd saved up so much time as a resource, I was able to just sit comfortably and plan this attack. And because of that, I was able to come up with this move right here. So finish up his tanks, send a tank in, weaken the medium tank a little bit, send another tank in, weaken the medium tank a little bit, Neo Tank, boom. There you go. And of course, I'm not really able to do much to his Neo Tank, but that's fine. But look at his army, ladies and gentlemen. Look at his army, ladies and look at that. His entire army is running out of fuel, and they don't have any city. Like, there's no captured cities for them to rest at. This artillery has 12 fuel, 15 fuel, 14 fuel, 21 fuel, 18 fuel. So his entire army is running out of fuel, and they have to try and make it to this base right here to save it, but they can't. He has no APC. He has some cities that he can rest at, but they're behind him, so he would have to pull units back. So Drake's fuel drain is actually coming in clutch right here. It is really hurting him. All of his units are flashing with that fuel icon right now, and it's just going to get worse. If I get off another tsunami at this point, his units will be stuck. So he does pop his hyper upgrade, which does negate a lot of the damage, but because of the rain, his units are still moving incredibly slowly. Now the extra movement does allow him to get some captures, which is nice, but just look at this. Look at this. 14 fuel, 14 fuel, 10 fuel, 6 fuel. He is so low on fuel right now. It's absolutely crazy. And also, he is really, really having to play fast right now. You can tell he's using his increment every single turn. 14 seconds left on the clock here. I'm not sure why he's not building an APC. He really should at this point. But you can tell his play is decreasing drastically here because he's not very good at playing on increment. And this is true for a lot of really strong live players. They're pretty good, but if you can get them on increment, they crumble incredibly fast. Some people are not used to playing quickly. And here I'm even sending infantry units around here, and now I'm going to threaten this base. So I am one base below my opponent, and I don't have a means to capture this base yet, but I'm still in a fantastic position because, again, my opponent has no goddamn fuel. He's going to run out very quickly, and if I can get off a single tsunami, boom, his entire force is going to be wrecked. So I do believe he has to build an APC this turn, because, again, he's just completely crippled. Yeah, he finally builds the APC. He has no choice here, because this artillery has 1 fuel left! He literally cannot move the artillery onto this forest to protect his base. It's not possible. So I'm taking my time. I know I am so relaxed right now. I do not need to stress. And look at this giant wall of units. What can he really do in this scenario? He has to pull back for fuel. He has to pull back for fuel. And now I just move forward because, again, so many of his units are just crippled here. 0 fuel on this guy, 10 fuel on this guy. It is amazing. And now his APC does arrive, but it's a little bit too late. and he simply resigns because he's like, you may ask like, why resign here? Well, just look at the state of this map. Once I get my Typhoon here, I will absolutely crush him. So yeah, that's I have no idea what happened here. I have absolutely no idea what happened here. But it was kind of weird. Kind of weird. But really cool match. I don't really know how I was able to pull this off. I didn't feel like I played really well, but yeah, just front shift back, force your opponent to chase you, drain their fuel, profit. It was pretty fun, honestly. Again, man, I can't stress this enough. Time is a resource in Live League. Don't waste it. Don't sit for 3 minutes and think about your build order. Just build something, man. Just build something. Play quickly. Don't think so much. If you can get into a position where you have 20 minutes and your opponent is on increment, you're gonna win. It doesn't matter how good they are. They won't be able to keep, like, unless they are so far ahead at that point that you're just gonna lose. If you are in any kind of like even scenario, they're not gonna be able to keep up with you. They're just not. So keep this in mind, guys. Time is a resource. Play quickly. Don't be slow. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.